Nilly, Nilly, where art thou, Nilly?
I.
Hello. All right.
I'm such a weird dude. Like, I see, oh god, the countdown is getting slow, and I'm starting to like run through my apartment. Like, how much time am I actually saving compared to like running to normal walking? It has to be less than a second, right?
Well, if you're running around your apartment and your apartment has, laminated flooring, wooden flooring, you're probably sliding past where you're trying to get to as well. So
Yeah,
then you're kind of, you're having to come back on yourself. Like, I've got carpet, so I'm good to run around.
Oh, I stopped running at 70% of the distance and slide the rest.
Oh, okay.
But then crash into my chair, obviously. Tricky stuff.
You probably got it down. Some good efficiency there. I mean, you can slide. I can't. If I try and slide, I just end up face planting the desk. So,
yeah.
You know. Anyway, why were you running around? Excitement or just trying to do some odd jobs between games?
Just doing stuff and saw the timer ticking down and you starting to talk and I was like, I didn't get my drinks and yeah.
Okay, no problem. Well, anyway, Aftermath versus Secret. This is going to be one of the most hyped games of the day. Potentially one of the closest games of the day because both of these teams are absolute heavyweights. Aftermath and Secret going at it in a best of 3. The loser knocked out won't score any points, and the winner will fortify their position in the rankings. We're going to get game 1 going right about now.
I think you need to explain again, Zach. It feels unfair, like the best 2 teams in the world facing each other in the first round. Why was that?
Well, it feels unfair that Aftermath and Secret clash in round 1, but it is not fair because this tournament doesn't use seeding. It uses essentially a round-robin format. Every single team will face every other team in the first round twice. There are 8 teams and there are 14 events, essentially a double round robin over the course of the whole tournament, which means that although Aftermath face Secret now, and they will face them again in round 1 later, they will face all the other teams in round 1 as well over the course of the whole tournament.
Sweet stuff, and that's why we see so many different matchups, some that we might never see in a different format, and lovely and absolutely fair for everyone, as it should be with this big $60,000 tournament. Introduce the teams. Back, please.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm seeing Aftermath. They are down to the south on Team Acropolis. In the grey, we have MBL playing as the Slavs. We have Leary in the green playing as the Berbers. In the teal, we have Nikov playing as the Magyars. And in the blue, we have Hart playing as the Spanish. You know, I get really excited when I see Nikov playing. Like this, I love watching Nikov play, and he's one of the best players in the world, and it's exciting when I have Nikov on my screen.
I'm a huge Nikov fanboy.
Yeah,
Everyone is always saying like, oh, Viper number 1, Lyri number 2, and I always feel like I think Nikov would be number 2. The problem is that he's not playing those 1v1 tournaments too regularly, but I think we will see him go deep in quite some ECLs. One of the only 2 winners ever in EGM tournaments.
Yep, he won Escape Gaming Masters 2, if I'm not mistaken, yes. Which was not a shock, but it did mean that Viper, I think, didn't even finish in the money in that tournament because he knocked him out. That was a good tournament. But this is a team of all-stars, Nilly, and a team of champions, as Barbecue Turkman said last week, does not make a champion team. Let's see what Aftermath can do against the other team of champions. Nilly, who was on the other side of the map?
It is Team Secret, starting from the right-hand side. A Mongols player, the Viper. I like the Mongols way more this time because we won't have Scandinavia. His pocket position will be his good friend, Mr. Jordan 23. Magyars, incredible, strong Cav civilization. Tedo, taking one for the team with the Spanish. The trade bonus will incredible be for them. And Doubt loves his camel archers and therefore picked the Berbers.
Yep, and Hart, meanwhile, lost a villager somewhere or a scout. He's down a population, and I see his scout is alive. So he lost a villager somewhere under his TC, taking a boar. I think he's doing it without loom. And so he's going to be down 1. That's the only notable event that's happened so far. Neither team attempting to come forward and do any scout shenanigans. But this map, really, it's not like your average 4v4 team game map. It's not like an Arabia. It's got one very crucial, very different factor. And that is that all players start incredibly close together, which means that, you know, the pocket players, Nikov and Haliri, they're not really pockets. They don't have to play as pockets. And you get complete control. Oh, Haliri there, just saving his Vil with that house. Nearly lost another one, did Aftermath. And in fact, the ball's going to run back. Oh, he's got it. Okay.
Such a real play. And yeah, that's a scrappy start. Livy won't have a good scout rush if he wanted to go for one. And let's think about civilizations. We have Magyars, Spanish, Berbers for both. And then we have Slavs against Mongols. Slavs, obviously nice because you're picking civilization out of the Civ pool. Mongols, those elite Mango dice could be pretty good in a 4v4 scenario.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Slavs and Magyars have to be the most... Well, I don't know, like one of the most popular civs on this map. But we said before that the Mongols really going to be powerful on the Scandinavia map. However, there is no Scandinavia in this civ draft, or in this map draft, I should say. So that means that the the secret team can utilize their Mongols in game 1 on Team Acropolis, where they could do serious damage. And I think they'll do a lot more damage than the Slavs as well.
We will see. And yeah, as you said, scouts so good, and that's why we see them, all those civs being played on Acropolis. 3 players from the Tyrants going to the feudal age early on, and we see 2 players from AM only. So 2 fast castles from AM, only 1 fast castle. Mr. Doubt or Team Secret.
Of course it's Doubt doing the fast castle. It has to be Doubt. And he's got a really nice mill at the back actually as well. He's milled his berries, but he's milling the back because he's got this like massive deer patch. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deer within reach of that mill there, which is really nice. And he's going to absolutely take the most of that if he's planning to boom. And we're going to see some aggression coming in fairly shortly as players start to hit the feudal age here. The barracks coming up from Nikov and the stable to follow as well. He's already working on that. We've got the stable from Jordan 23. That's both of the Magyar players doing scouts. The Spanish player Tato, he's got his his stable up, and we can also see that it's Hart, who is the Spanish player on Aftermath's side, that is not doing the barracks and stable. He is going to be the guy going for the castle. So a very different strat here, Nilly. What do you think? The Spanish player going for conks or the Spanish player going for scouts?
Spanish player for Kongs is better if you have other players going for scouts. It feels like a bit of an overkill to me. Like 3 players going scouts? But if the enemy is going mass spearman and come wall up, it feels like, are 16 scouts really doing more damage than 11 scouts? I don't really see that. So I think Spanish player could have transitioned into something else.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. I just saw this fight on the front with Viper. His 3 scouts absolutely owning Nikov. His micro there was perfect, and that's even with Nikov having the extra 1 attack on his scouts compared to Viper there. Just solid micro already from the yellow player. Tato coming in as well with his scouts now. We've got Jordan 23 adding some as well, and it looks like it's going to be... Am I mistaken in saying that it's just 2 scouts for Aftermath and 3 then for Secret?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's 2 players playing fast castle here. And let's see, Leary, he's going for camel archers as well. That means we will need a lot of spearmen being produced from Nikov and from MBL here, trying to save their teammates. But at the moment, seems like AM, somewhat bulletproof.
Well, I think AM have been really smart because they've actually walled up really early on their most important resources. On the wood lines, they're already closed in. They already have walls down on the stones, on the other wood lines at the back. But there's a hole. There's always a hole. Seems like MBL will be there, however, to push Tato away. Tato doesn't want to get stuck inside of the wall and end up being trapped in with some spearmen. Definitely does not want to be caught foul of that. So he'll look for another angle. But Leary's already walled up his woodline over here. And the Secret are having a hard time finding too much damage at the moment, I have to say.
And that really shows you how well AM is reacting to that. It's so easy to screw up a single quick ball, to have one single hole. We see that on the highest level over and over again. But AM, they are playing 100%. They know what's on the line.
Absolutely, and they know that they're going to be under a bit more pressure when they've got 2 of their 4 players doing a fast castle strat. Looks like MBL will lose 1 villager on this left side, though. It's inevitable that you're going to lose more when your opponents have more military, but they've done a great job at reducing the losses as much as possible. Apart from the 1 villager that died from Nikov, only about 4 or 5 kills for Secret so far onto the Aftermath side, and I think only 1 or 2 vills as well. So really good going. Leary is up to castle. He's going to have his castle on the way up. Nice and defensive. Doubt also on the way up, or already in the castle age, with his castle on the way as well.
Nikov even got 2 kills against Jordan there at the top. So normally, if like the enemy is playing more aggressive and you have the eco approach, like kind of out of the point of view of AM, the lower the KDs overall, the better for you. So that really shows you Team Secret wanted to do more damage, but really couldn't. And I like the spot of AM. It just feels like hard with his Conquistadors. Will be tricky for him. Will he go for mass Conquistadors, or will he add 2 TCs and tries more of the eco approach?
Well, definitely will be adding Conquistadors. Viper's got something to say about that, though. The villager there going to go down on the castle, and Hart building that castle super close to his TC. When you're building the castle that close to the TC, it seems weird that he'd have a villager out here building it rather than on this south side, which is closer to safety. Viper's diving in, looking for more damage, but he might find another villager here. I don't think he can commit. He has to back away. But overall, not as much damage as Secret would have liked, I think.
Yeah, but we're always talking about indirect damage as well. The enemy's army had to be at home. They forced a lot of quick walls, forced the castles to be very defensively as well, not protecting like too much open wood, for example. And yeah, now they know the whole map, know all the wood spots, so it still is a good thing for Secret. And like they just know the strategy choices for 100% as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Doubt's castle also very defensive, though. It's not like he used his this castle as an opportunity to get some ground in the middle of the map, and you can see the repercussions of that already as Leary comes in, hits Jordan 23, who's just started building a TC here, and he has to bail because those 2 camel archers are enough to kill all of those villagers if he committed to building that town center there. Knights from Jordan coming over, and oh no, look at this. Jordan's knight trapped between the woodline and the barracks, the stable there, and the barracks. And he's actually had to delete the barracks to let it out after losing 2 villagers already.
And that's a sloppy play, I believe. Jordan, why did he not tell Doubt to send his camel archers there? It kind of was the only exposed spot that they had. And, I felt like there I would have loved to see Doubt defending that.
Yeah, I think he could have defended. He had some camel archers around, but I think he was dealing with some other raiding at the same time. Nikov's just found 2 villager kills onto Tato as well, and I think he'll even get a 3rd here because those scouts have 3+4 attack. So Nikov just finding himself 3 kills, while 2 of the... sorry, not even 2, all 4 of the... Secret players are in the castle age, and he's finding even more kills back here. This just shouldn't be happening. These 3 scouts, man, so much damage from Nikov already, and finally they might meet their end, these spearmen. But the pressure now on as Leary comes forward with camel archers, Nikov comes forward with knights, and Hart is pressuring with conquistadors here.
Beautiful micro there by Nikov for sure. Goes for more knights, +2/+2. Hart is going for conquistadors. Leary with the Berber camel archers. all of them going for full aggression, I believe. Yeah, and MBL going for Knights as well. So all 4 going for massive army here in Castle Age. You see, the Secret guys now in some defense. The Viper even built a defensive castle here and is now going for Mango Dice in Castle Age. Something we don't see too often.
Yeah, we don't see it too often, but he has got 3 TCs as well, and every little helps, you know. This additional firepower will certainly help, especially if he's sitting on the hill, just to support his teammates. And I guess it has the added benefit that once he does eventually reach Imp, he will have a base of Mangonite that are already ready and waiting to go. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, right now, Doubt is the military leader at the moment, with the majority of the Camel Archers, or more Camel Archers, and he's had a lot longer to build them up, so he's done a really good job of that. Leary, meanwhile, only has 7 military, and I wonder if that's because Doubt isn't booming as much. Nope, Doubt's on 3 TCs as well. Leary also on 3 TCs. Leary's just either lost more units or fallen behind in production.
Well,
and I think those Camel Archers, sorry to interrupt, but just I think the Camel Archers for Aftermath are even more important in this game, because you've got Viper making Mangadai as well, right?
Yeah, I think so as well. Leary should be the guy carrying more than Doubt is probably, but he has the higher numbers for now. Lots of army, look at that. Feels like 6, 7 players there in the center of the map, and that could be a big clash if Team Secret wanted to commit. I think they cannot do that against the hill.
Oh, I don't know. They're going to immediately take out some Camel Archers from Leary, but you're right. The Conquistadors at the back and the Knights, of course, from Nikov, definitely threatening a lot of damage. But in comes Viper, and they might just go for the hill with his presence here as well. And yeah, it's Aftermath going to back up. Tyrant Secret going to get the hill, and whatever is left there from Heart will be killed off as these guys run away.
Where is MBL with his army? He's going to the north now. The only guy who isn't going for full army with all the upgrades. More of the boom approach from him goes for 4 TCs at the moment. So they want to have the Slav player in him, maybe with some Drashnir Halberdiers and all the siege pushing from the left-hand side. Could be something tough to counter for Team Secret.
Yes, exactly. And at the moment, I noticed Leary went up with a 4 TC as well. So it looks like Aftermath are taking the more boom approach. They should have the villager lead. Hard to say at a glance, but I mean, I'd say they probably got more villagers right now. I'm seeing 40s and 50s for Secret, and most people in 60s, or all of them in 70s for Aftermath. So Aftermath have more villagers at the moment. They don't have quite as much military, but they'll quickly catch up in military count because the second castle is up for Leary now, and he's just doubled his Camel Archer production. So he should be catching up. He should be boosting those Camel Archer numbers over the next couple of minutes. Will Secret do damage in the meantime? Because right now they're kind of holding back.
Well, they need to get something done here, right? Villager counts, everyone around like 80-ish, I would say, except Jordan and Tedo. They are quite far behind, so it feels a lot of more eco for AM. But the Viper doing some damage to the left-hand side, and now some more aggression towards the right-hand side. It feels like Leary should be able to defend that, though.
Yeah, this is what we need to see. We need to see more aggression from Secret right now, because they've got to kill some villagers to equalize out. Like I say, the production for Aftermath getting a little bit higher now that the next castles come up, and Leary's on the way up to Imperial before Doubt, by the way. And these are the two players we should be looking at side by side, in my opinion. Leary has a few more villagers than Doubt. His boom's been a little better, and he's going to be a little faster to Imperial as well. Next up is MBL, who's been quite quiet in the Castle Age. Going to be Imperial very soon. And then what does he make, Nearly? I saw him trying to drop down some siege workshops on the left side.
That should be Rams Halberdiers with Drashnir upgrade. Jordan was a bit off there at the right-hand side, leaving Tedo a bit exposed. Let's see if Jordan can find some more kills. Just doing a reasonable job against Leary here. All eyes at the moment for me at MBL, but distance is just very long. The boom, I don't see him transitioning too well into some aggression. I'd say somewhat of an even game at the moment.
Yeah, it does feel quite even. Obviously, the big difference right now is the fact that, oh no, look at this, Viper going to get caught. Oh wait, no, never mind. They're on the same team. I was like, whoa, he's gonna lose so many Mangadai. But no, I was gonna say about the Mangadai is the fact that he was making quite a bit of Mangadai in the Castle Age there, and oh, that was funny. But he kept quite a lot of them alive. He's already got 23, and he's immediately gonna do the Elite Mangadai upgrade, and so he's gonna be able to get going as soon as he hits the Imperial Age here. He's gonna be no waiting around before Viper is pushing in with those Mangadai and doing big damage.
But what can he do? Let's see. A lot of castles defensively. Elite Camel Archers now trying to take the engagement against Stout, who already has a big upgrade advantage there. Has Bloodlines, is trying to take the fight against the hill now. Has one more defense upgrade and feels like against that hill, he cannot take that fight.
No, I think the numbers are there for Leary as well. But like you say, the upgrades definitely are not. Leary, though, just finishing up +2 defense, just finishing up chemistry. Why doesn't he have Bloodlines, though? That's such an important tech. I don't think he has a stable, so it's, does need to consider getting one. Viper about to hit Imperial. MBL's been in for a while, but where's the play from MBL?
Well, that is a tricky thing, right? He wanted to get the siege workshop up, did want to go for the barracks, but it got denied by the one Viper raid over there against him. And then it's really tough. Slavs, they're not like the civs that can control the whole map. It's more like the one-dimensional push into the face, something he cannot deliver just yet.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about when I'm comparing him to Viper right now. You know, the Slav player is the unique, the only player playing as the Slavs, and the Mongol player is the only player playing as the Mongols. But the difference here is so huge. You can see Viper already has a huge army. He's already pushing out. And MBL, meanwhile, he's been imp for a while, but there's nothing from him yet. And that, I think, is quite an important difference that we're going to see Secret taking advantage of in the next minutes.
Yeah, well, when did MBL lose so many villages as well, right? 32 losses. That wasn't a lot of knights from him. It feels like the Viper's transition was pretty nice. Yeah, he had extra boar and extra deer at the side that he could have used with the Mongols, but still felt MBL needs to get something done. It is walling the map quite nicely. Tedo trapped at the right-hand side, but might even win that fight. Hard is transitioning away from Conquistadors towards Paladins.
Yep, we're seeing Leary right now getting a little bit caught out here. He's outnumbered by Doubt. He's got the Knights of Jordan to support the Camel Archers as well. So Leary's going to get pushed back there. And all three Secret players here in the same place. Where is... who are we missing here? Where is Tato at the moment? What's Tato doing? He's switching into Cavalier as well, right?
Let's take a look. Yeah, more stables from him. Just lost all his Conquistadors, then 1,000. And what will we see? It will be like Camel Archer, Mango Dive, Paladin against Paladin, Camel Archer, Halberdier.
And Siege.
And Siege?
Yeah.
What do you think about...
A lot of Rams.
Berber Camels as well?
Berber Camels? Yeah, that could be pretty good. I mean, the Berbers
to be a sling, though.
The Berbers have the versatility to do that, though. But right now, Nikov's coming through with some Cavalier. Illyri here taking quite a bad fight, actually. But with the Cavalier, they might be able to turn this around. Jordan 23 doesn't have Cavalier yet, but they might be forced to fight. They think they might be able to take it. Elite Mangadai from Viper nearly fully upgraded. But these guys just took quite a poor fight in the end. Lack of upgrades and the Cavalier coming through for Nikov, pushing them back.
Thanks as well. Jordan's very late there with all the upgrades. And Leary, yeah, he started this one off 2v1, but had the higher numbers. And then the Paladins did take a lot of fire. Let's take a look. Leary is getting all the aggression done. MBL, I have no idea what he is playing at the moment. 154 villagers for him. That's way too much.
He's got a big boom, and he's working on the Siege Ram upgrade. He's working on the Halberdier, And maybe the play here is, okay, let's put all 3 of our players on the right side, make Secret fight as there, and then just do one big push up the left with the Siege Rams and the Halbs, and maybe blindside the Secret team. Maybe go for a trade hit, maybe try and take down all the markets, something like that. Open them up, give them an opportunity to raid.
We'll see. Lots of walls on the map, so it will be tricky for all the players to really make something happen. We have Hart and Leary now switching over to the left-hand side, feeling like the right-hand side is safe. Actually, everyone is going over to the left-hand side. So finally, MBL, only 23 kills this game. He will start to continue, or will really start in this game now.
Yeah, well, we're looking at Secret's point of view right now, and they are trying to defend from this push, which is coming in on the left side. That's the Halbs from MBL, the Paladins from Hart, and the Siege Rams from MBL as well. They've got a nice little hill here to work with, so they're going to position nicely on that with the Mangudai and the Camels, while the Cavalier, which are about to become upgraded to Paladin, are taking the front line. Good defense from Secret. They'll be able to hold on there quite comfortably. And I think all 4 of their players in one place as well. So they've basically got a pretty solid fight on their hands if they want to take it here. I don't think the Slavs are looking scary at all at the moment.
No, they don't, but obviously that should be the Civ that loses a lot. Now Nikov is coming over, 20 Paladins going back. I feel this could be a better fight for AM if they combine their forces, but going back onto that hill, it's a big fight.
It is a big fight, and to be honest, we'll be... well, it's hard to say who's going to get it, right? You really need, in this situation, either the Paladins to get to the back lines and get the Rams, or maybe the Mangudai to be able to take out the Siege. But the Secret team have a hill to work with here, and that's going to be huge. The problem is, once the Rams start coming into the front, then you're going to find it a lot harder to do damage with these Camel Archers. They're going to suddenly drop off massively, and Lyri's Camel Archers are going to be able to do a lot more. But both teams feel like they can win this fight. Both teams absolutely 100% committed to this engagement. The Rams from MBL could be doing quite a lot of work right now, but I don't know. I think this is going to be a bit of a regroup from Secret, it looks like, as they give up that hill.
Well, population, only Jordan at pop 140. No idea why he is so low. No real raids. And you know what the real masterpiece would be here? Spanish cannon galleons on that pawn. They would be so good in that fight. But obviously tough to get to them at the moment. You're trying to get to the Paladin masses. That looks good for AM at the moment.
Well, look at the KDs. I think that's a really good indicator of how that fight went. You can see that it's Leary and Doubt with the Berber Camel Archers who are really doing the most damage, followed closely by the Mangudai from Viper, and then the role of MBL with 29 kills and 107 deaths. He is tank. He is tank. He's not supposed to get kills. He's supposed to tank the shots and throw some Halbs into the mix to distract the arrow fire. And it seemed like that might have just worked out quite well for them, because even with a negative KD like that, they're still keeping up this push.
I think he will start to contribute a bit more concerning kills once he gets onto SO, something he isn't really attacking for just yet. Mass Halberdiers, now he is still at the front end. Yeah, tanks are important in those scenarios for sure. Jordan now coming in with a lot of Paladins and another big battle.
And I think this will go better for Secret here. The Siege Rams immediately going down. We've got Onager at the back from MBL, but I do think Secret will push this back because they have the Paladin numbers. Where was Nikov in that fight? Nikov did not have enough Paladins over here, and I don't know where he's at right now, but he's down to 19 military. Meanwhile, we complained about Jordan having a low military. He's still on a low amount of population, but he's still contributing to this fight over here, leading the charge with those Paladins. Both of the players with Paladins struggling to get the numbers up, I think, at the moment, and it looks like it's a gold issue.
Yeah, and even Elite Mega Hassa added from Nikov. He is now up to 46 trade cuts, though the only guy not really having numbers there is MBL with 9 trade cuts. All the other players with reasonable numbers and still increasing as well. Push at the right-hand side, now somewhat being set up. This will be a beautiful game coming our way.
This is already shaping up to be an epic, as both teams are so determined to fight for this little hill, but Secret have got it back after losing it the first time. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not seeing enough Paladins in this side of the map for AM. I just feel like they're getting crushed by the Paladin numbers here. Where are the Paladins from Nikov? I think they're running over now, but like you say, Magyar Hussar coming in, trade carts taking a while to get running, and obviously you're sinking gold into trade carts. It takes a while for them to pay themselves back, and as a result, you know, it does slow you down a little bit with that Paladin production. Now we see Tato and Jordan starting to get their trade cart numbers up. We see Hart and Nico starting to get their trade cart numbers up. We should see a bit more of a steady stream of Paladin production coming our way.
Let's hope so. Overall military numbers a bit better for the AM guys. And we see Tato even researching onagers, as Spain, obviously that doesn't make too much sense. I believe he is doing the sneak attack left-hand side, probably wants to cut the wood line there pretty soon and then raid with Paladins, but not enough numbers for him yet because, again, they're fighting in the center.
They are, and it's... I kind of don't want to take my camera off of this, but I also need to see what else is going on around the map. On the left side, we did see MBL with some Haubs cleaning up some of Tato's Paladins over there. We've also got Onager for Viper, so he'll probably go for Siege Onager when he can. Interestingly, both of the Spanish players did Supremacy to protect from raid damage, and it's now Aftermath who had the hill. This hill changing hands all over the place.
Not a lot of siege now for AM though. Where are the rams from MBL? Where are the traps as well? Yeah. Paladins from Hart not really engaging. I think they could be pushed off that pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the minimap, and I do see, thanks to the X there of Hart, a raid coming through. The Elite Mangudai from Viper looking for a way through here, but there is no way through. It's completely walled off as far as I can tell. But it will mean that Leary will send some units back and Hart will send some units back, and Secret could probably take this hill again now. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up, well, they're able to take it. But there are actually now bombard cannons or bombard towers coming down from Hart. So I think the goal of Aftermath here is going to be able to get some bombard towers up on this hill and then solidify that position a little more. Siege Onager coming in now for Viper and MBL as well here.
Oh, and love that. That will make it so much tougher to control that hill. Doubt now even preparing a lot of traps there. Leary holding that hill for now, but I think he should be pushed off that pretty soon. Hard trying to get more bomber towers up, as you said. I don't see AM holding that.
We're going to see some big Siege Onager shots coming in very soon as the Siege Onager techs come through for both of these teams. These Camel Archers better watch out because they are under a lot of pressure right here as these Siege Onagers get upgraded. But yeah, the Trebs from Doubt, of course, should be able to take down these bombard towers quite quickly. I don't know what the hell that Treb from Leary was doing right there, but it was there. Must have been a misclick of sorts. But what a... I mean, they've been fighting over this spot for about 15 minutes now, and both teams looking so even in their engagements.
Seems to be the favorite hill of both teams here. Still no cannon guns, and if we didn't see them yet, it will be tough to see them ever. Oh god, look at the south side of the pond and all the Paladins of Hart being blocked because Leary screwed up a waypoint there and is blocking with some Camel Archers.
And the walls could be deleted to help them get through as well. But that's important. Like, you know, as nice as the battle is, there you go, he's deleted the wall. You've got to understand, you know, what forces are at play, what's causing the shifts in balance. Now look at Doubt's KD. Look at that, 437 kills. The Berber Camel Archers leading the way for their teams at the moment. Meanwhile, MBL at 146 kills, 408 losses. I'm still struggling to see where the slab player is making the difference here. Is it going to be the Siege Onagers now that those are up?
They have to be it, right? Building them cheaper makes a lot of sense to go for them. It is pretty good against either Mangudais or Camel Archer if he can land a shot. Maybe some against the traps.
They just instantly went down. All three of them. 1, 2, 3 dead. I think Viper microed them down with the Mangudai.
I think it was Stout microing them down with the traps, but it also could have been Tato.
No, he didn't hit them with the traps. He didn't hit them with the traps. But for whatever reason, right now, why is there no Paladins here all of a sudden for Jordan 23? Where is Jordan 23?
I don't really know. Where
Okay,
is he?
he's got Paladins on the right side. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Look at where Jordan 23 is reinforcing from.
That's just super bad.
That's really bad. He's reinforcing from here, and he's running them all the way to the left side of the map. I think he needs more forward stables, Nilly.
Yeah, and he's not even producing out of the 3 forward ones. That's just so bad. Yeah, also producing from home as well. That's a sloppy inplay and something that you shouldn't see from Tedo and Viper, for example.
Now look at this. This is where it gets scary. A lot of bombard cannons on the hill and bombard towers on the hill. I can count about 12 bombard towers right there. And that's going to make it so much harder for Secret to be able to push this back. And it's going to give them such a great staging position to push through here. Look at how many dead bodies there are on the floor. It's absolutely crazy. And meanwhile, you've got this amazing play, amazing concave from Doubt and Viper, really controlling their units so well. I think the problem here is the lack of Paladins for the Secret team. They just don't have the Paladin presence at the moment.
Oh, so true. And look at the resources of Tedo, of Jordan, completely off balance as well. He's going for Paladins only and has 40 on wood, 30 farmers only. Trade is at reasonable numbers with 53, but don't like the number of stables around, as we said. Tedo, he's doing a bit of a better job, but not getting up to the very big numbers as well.
Absolutely, and I mean, they've been fighting over this spot for so long, both teams pouring everything they've got into this left side, while the right side, Heart's making a play right now. This is a big play. A lot of siege rams, a lot of bombard towers, bombard cannons to back it up, Paladins as well. This is a mighty fine Spanish push, and he's going to try to take down this castle from Viper and make a play on this right side, try and find some damage over here.
Oh, and that caused so much attention to Microdor against the bombard towers there, bombard cannons. And meanwhile, left-hand side push continues. Lots of traps out. This is one of the best games. And I thought game number 2 in the series before was very good. This one might even take longer. Those are the best players in the world.
This is an absolute bloodbath, and it's amazing. I mean, I mean, look at the floor. Look at the ground. It's just covered. It's incredible, and this is just something else. This is a whole nother level to what we saw in LOS versus Coaches earlier on. It really is. Nico breaking through, doing some raiding now, though. Finds a way through the walls here as he makes another attempt at breaking the gate of Viper. And that is going to mean that more Manga Hussar are making it into the back lines of the Secret base. They are holding the left side. I don't know how well they're holding it because, to be honest, those bombard towers seem to be coming further and further forward by the minute. And yeah, I mean, where is Secret lacking right now? What are they lacking? Where are the problems?
It's tough to say. Military numbers simply not that high, but well, reasonable for all teams. It just feels like positioning at the left-hand side, as Osa aren't really getting the fights in. It feels like MBL just has the good job of focusing down, moving the traps forward, halberdiers, makes it so much easier. It's way tougher for the Viper, who at the moment needs to control 4 areas, and even he can't do that.
Well, you know what I'm amazed at? When you look at the KDs, you look at the number of kills on the Aftermath team, and then you look at the number of kills on the Secret team. Secret have killed so much more this game. But it doesn't matter if you've killed more, if you end up losing ground, if you end up losing momentum, right? So, it's, especially for MBL, it's a thankless job because he's just got to throw as many units into the meat grinder as possible and essentially just, you know, be tank. But it is working for his team. They're throwing away units, but they're doing it strategically.
Yeah, and like, KD is a misleading statistics.
Yeah.
If you think about like cost efficiency, like how many resources you killed and how many resources you lost, the statistics should be a bit closer. And a lot of access here on the center or on the map. So much going on. Right-hand side push seems to be somewhat stopped. The Viper and Jordan focusing together to stop only Hard. That should mean left-hand side should go more into the favor of the AM guys.
Yep, and it is, actually. It is. One thing I have to say is that the Secret team just aren't building enough Bombard Towers. Look at the difference in the Bombard Towers. Aftermath, everywhere you see a push, you see a lot of Bombard Towers from Heart. And that's just additional damage. That's additional, like, defense from a counter-attack. And those Bombard Towers, I think that's what's winning Aftermath the game right now. And in my opinion, they are winning the game at the moment, even if the scores say otherwise. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Nilly.
I absolutely agree. Left-hand side is looking pretty nice there as well, losing more and more buffer. Maybe that's even the time where you want to add some more Rams. Right-hand side looking reasonable for them as well. Nikov now adding some more Paladins. I don't like that. You don't really need double Paladins. Maybe MBL building some siege over at the right-hand side, adding some Halberdiers there as well. Could be a nice addition.
Yeah, so it's about time now that we start looking at wood, I think, because the wood is starting to get chopped out. We can see that there's a lot of idle villages for Secret where the wood lines have been chopped away. But there is still quite a decent amount of wood in the back, it seems, though it won't last for too long. And when you take that into consideration, Aftermath do seem to have a bit more map control. They do seem to have the ability to step forward and take the woods in the center of the map now that they've started to push through on both sides at the same time. I think they're in a much better position with that.
Yeah, the question is who is really using more wood, right? And it feels like double Paladin.
Doubt.
Leary Doubt are using a lot.
And those are the two guys who are...
And MBL.
Yeah. Well, Leary and Doubt absolutely need a solid supply of wood because they're making camel archers, and as you can see, it's the camel archers that are doing the most damage here. So if they lose access to wood and lose their camel archer production, well, I think it would be GG very quickly after that.
Yeah, absolutely. If all the camel archers are going down and no wood production, let's take a look. Wood price already being bought, 136, stone at 300 here. So people are thinking about the long run. And just remember, like 3-4 weeks prior to that, they had a Regicide Fortress game. It lasted 2.5 hours. And the wood price got up to 900. So
That's
they know
crazy.
how to play the long game.
Oh yeah, that is crazy. Look at this on the right side though. Jordan and Viper pushing back now. It looked so good for a while. Hart and Nikov making really good progress here. But it's starting to crumble on this right side for Aftermath. And they've got to be careful because when you open a hole into your enemy, you've got to make sure that that hole doesn't allow them to come into you as well, right? I mean, they have got a wall on this right side, but if Viper and Jordan push through here, is it defended further down the line? And there is a big opening there, so we could start seeing some Mangudai raids from Viper. We could start seeing some Paladin raids from Jordan in a moment as this front area collapses for Aftermath on the right side.
Yeah, that's so true, but a lot of production behind that, building some more Bombard Towers. It's tough to run through there. It absolutely is a useful thought that you raised there. I think some more gates behind for Hearts would be quite nice. Did over chop a bit. Oh, they're even trying to fill those holes.
Yeah.
And left-hand side seems to be somewhat safe as well. This game is just taking for quite some time here.
Well, the thing that I like about the Bombard Towers on the left side is that it just gives you more time. It buys you time. Like, if you start losing one of these sides, your Bombard Towers will stall your enemy long enough that you can reinforce and go back there later. On the right side, however, these guys now really need to turn their attention to this, and they are. Nikov with a lot of Paladins. He's got 73 military right now. Hart here as well with 55, and Leary coming over with some camel archers as well. They want to push this back, and they want to push this back for good. And if they can do that, well, it might be, shoe on the other foot situation. It could be Aftermath pushing through here and raiding very shortly as well. And immediately, oh my goodness, Viper and Jordan just running away.
Oh man, and those army masses, something we don't see too often in RM games here. That is just madness. The Viper has mass amount of Mangudai, needed to go back there, waited for Doubt to come over to help. In the meanwhile, Jordan is losing all his Paladins. Left-hand side push somewhat stopped, and Is this still completely even? Score says yes.
Yeah, the score does kind of say it's even. There's 500 points between them. Doubt coming over with some elite camel archers as well. Leary there with his own camel archers, but here come the siege onagers from Viper. If he can hit some big shots now, that could immediately send these guys packing. He does get a great number of camel archers there with those siege onagers, and now Tato to the rescue to once again push Aftermath back on this right-hand side. Big siege onager shots now coming through for MBL as well, who's repositioned to the right flank. And Nilly, I mean, you're a deathmatch player. This must be wonderful for you to be watching right now.
Absolutely, and Zach, it is happening. Look at the center point. Hart is taking for elite cannon galleons. And if he gets like 8 to 10 elite cannon galleons there, he will just control such a big area. It will be impossible to wall. Camel archers could go over and over there. They can just build more stables, can control all the center of the map. And I think if they get that control, they are winning the game.
That is amazing. You called it earlier on, but that's awesome. Spanish cannon galleons from here, and here. I mean, what can they reach? What can they do? I'm questioning how much they're going to be able to do, to be honest. They might hit a couple of these bombard cannons, but what else?
Simply allowing yourself to have 20 stables there uncontested.
Okay,
it's just
on
so
the
good.
other side.
You can just put your waypoints, always produce some paladins after you lost a fight, and yeah, just never allow your enemy to ever get food and wood eco up again.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at Nikov. He's added 2 siege towers. I mean, 1 siege tower, and you think, okay, that's probably a misclick. The second siege tower, absolutely intentional. So I don't know if he's just trying to like meme on Secret right now, but sending some siege towers into the mix. Let's see though, the bombard cannon galleons go forward, and then what? Will they follow up with villagers? Will they put stables here? Will they start just pushing straight through the middle?
I think that's what they should do. Now killing some of the gates and walls at the left-hand side from Viper. And then you can just move 80 army there, and you can decide where you go. It's impossible for Secret to always catch everything. It will be just so tricky. But we see another very big fight at the right-hand side. How much army is that? Like 200?
Oh my god, that has to be 200 units right there. Surely. I mean, there's what, 4 players? All of them have over 50 military. Some of them have closer to 70. So, yeah, probably about 200 units on the screen. Just going at it. Jordan losing a lot here, though. There's quite a lot of paladins from AM at the moment. And those rams from Viper aren't really doing anything because there are no ranged units in this fight. It's now Viper with his back up against the wall, but Mangit, I kind of like it like that. They can sit in a little corner, a little pocket, and fight for a long time before going down, killing a lot of paladins in the process. So, obviously, Nikov Hart aware of that. They're happy with the damage for now, but we'll see if they can turn this into a bigger push or a better push by following up with some siege or some bombard towers.
Yeah, bomber towers enforcing there for sure. Not enough siege at the moment for the AM guys at the right-hand side. More important is the left-hand side area. We see Viper trying to gain some more ground there. We see a massive amount of dead villagers really trying to fight for those woodlands now. The wood price at the moment, 460.
You know, I love it at this part of the game when Viper is on 28 villagers and 71 trade carts. And you might be wondering, why is he at 28 villagers? Surely, did he get raided? Like, what happened? No, that's just the Mongols. I don't think he got raided. I mean, it's not that uncommon to see the Mongol player with that few villagers and all on gold.
Yeah, it is tricky. He has to have all of them on wood, but if you can't get wood, you need to have more trade cards to buy.
Yes,
exactly. The big problem is, like, Mongols don't have guilds, so initially he should sling Tato, for example. Tato should buy wood and then sling wood back, which kind of takes a lot, but is the better team strategy. But I know that they aren't doing that yet, so some inefficiency there for sure for the Viper. Left-hand side, so important.
Leary down to 28 villas as well. Viper now at 24 villagers. I mean, who needs villagers when you've got trade carts? Just trade 1 for 1. Villager to trade cart. And buy all of the all of the wood that you need. Obviously, the problem with that is you can't do it forever, but then again, the wood doesn't last forever either. And Lyri now moving over to the left side to try and defend this, as Viper does continue this push with these siege rams. Those Mongol siege rams, super speedy, V8 engine inside of them, and well, they're opening a big hole up to this trade. In fact, they could run through now if they wanted to, if Lyri wasn't sitting there defending and being a bit of a gatekeeper on this left flank.
He is indeed. Let's take a look. Can he take a good fight against Doubt there? It's roughly 70 camel archers against 70. MBL going forward. What's going on?
I'm laughing at MBL. I mean, I'm not laughing at him. I'm probably laughing with him. I mean, he's sending those halbs forward into the meat grinder, right? I mean, he's at 1,200 deaths now, and those halbs did nothing.
Would he maybe switch away and go more for a sling approach?
Oh, maybe. Maybe. I think he just needs more siege, more than anything. But it's kind of hard, right? When you don't have the wood, how are you making the siege?
Yeah, well, now he's in a bad spot. Obviously, he has 80 villagers. Still a lot of them working, though, so that's kind of efficient. But maybe more paladins is the better option for the long run here. You don't really want to have units that cost wood. Next engagement here at the left-hand side. And first time in this game that I feel like Secret is finally really pushing with bomber towers in some place.
Where's that? On
left-hand side.
Left side. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a few bombard towers there. I see 4. I don't think they're going to be able to follow it up with much, though, because Lyri's got way too many camel archers here. Masses of camel archers. And Doubt and Viper are holding back in the middle and trying to clean out the bombard towers from Aftermath, which were placed a long time ago. They're finally turning their attention to cleaning that area out and maybe taking that hill back as well.
Other thought that the chat just rose, and oh, beautiful quick one to the left hand side from Nikov here. What do you think about Boyard?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up as well. I think like it's okay, right? Because Jordan and Tato are both going for paladins. If you can add Boyar into the mix, they will perform well versus paladins. The problem is they will die very quickly to the Mangadai and the camel archers. However, you have to also ask the question of, well, if you've got wood and gold to spare, surely Boyar would still perform better than, I mean, food and gold to spare. Surely Boyar would perform better than the Halbs anyway.
Probably. Well, it was about cost efficiency, but at one point in Imperial Age, it's not about cost efficiency anymore, it's about pop efficiency.
Yeah.
And look at that incredible push from the Secret team again. Everyone grouping up their armies, and that just looks unstoppable.
Yeah, they're even bringing in their Neezis into fight here as well, as they come forward and, well, take down all of those bombard towers with the Trebs at the back. And, well, I mean, AM are quite split now, aren't they? You've got Nikov quite split on the left. You've got Lyri split there. You've got a few defensive units in the middle. And then on the right, you've got a few paladins from Heart. But it looks like the military numbers from AM just aren't there right now. I don't know if that's because of positioning or because they just don't have as many. And looking at the military count, Doubt's on 91 military, Viper's at 83. I think they're going for one kind of Hail Mary, all-in push. Like, we don't need any eco. We're just going to build as much military as we possibly can and finish the game here.
It's not that much, and even if they lose all their army, they're controlling so much at the left-hand side at the moment. It's totally fine for them. They're just controlling the game, getting good fights over and over again. I think even if they trade evenly, they are still in a fine spot, and I hate that MBL is now going for champs. That makes 0 sense.
MBL going for champs.
Yeah.
He's got 69 vills. What's he looking like on resource? Oh my goodness, look at Doubt's resources. He's got 5k gold in the bank and 11k food. And he's at 96 military. That's insane. That's a lot of military right there.
And in the meanwhile, Tato has 3k, so could maybe use some sling. But yeah, MBL, 200 swordsmen now going forward there. It seems like his KD wasn't bad enough for him and he really wanted to throw more away. Harbit is just so much better. Just like he has to sling onto paladins here. That make it's just I'm shocked that he's going for that.
They're a little bit more expensive, aren't they? But at least they don't cost wood. That's probably his thinking. Because he doesn't have much wood, and he might not be able to get much more wood in this game. But here we go. Tato on the left side makes a big push now. Paladins into the trade line there. He's going to find some trade carts. And we've even got some raiding in the south as well from Viper with some Mangadai. That's starting to heat up as well. And, well, I mean, the trade now, if that goes down, then we've got big problems for Aftermath.
Oh yeah, it is, and even the bad markets there for MBL, one completely out of position, kind of helping him. A lot of trade cards went down, and they are so costly now. Just think about it, like wood, 600 gold. So the trade card alone costs now like 650 gold, and needs to go quite some time.
That's madness.
Worth it again.
These trade carts bring 153 gold per trip, by the way, which is pretty high. But yeah, the wood price, 600 gold for 100 wood. That's absurd. And these guys are depleting every last resource on the map to keep this aggression, keep this military pressure up. And this has been going on since minute 30. And now we're at 1 hour and 36. It looks like Secret are finally starting to get more ground in the middle. This raid on the left has certainly knocked Aftermath's confidence perhaps a little bit, while on the right side, the push over there completely stopping in its tracks. Aftermath just don't seem to be what they used to be, and I see a lot of idle military around for Heart here as well. Some idle paladins just in the back. A lot of units getting stuck as well on the right side at the pond earlier on, and now the battle that could be the last battle of the game if one team wins this conclusively here. Let's see how it goes. The military counts at the moment looking so good for Viper and Doubt. 100 military for Viper, 88 for Doubt. Meanwhile, you've got 98 Camel Archers for Lyri, and Nikov down to just 36 military here. A little bit concerning for Aftermath.
They're even trying to get wood there at the front, buying 200 wood here is Lyri, trying to get onto some numbers. He's way too much at the front now. Now, he should never lose a single Camel Archer here. You always want to fight with Paladins at the front. Such a weird and tough game. Hart lost all his markets, all his cannon guns. Did go up to like 20, 25 in the whole game, but never had them in the center of the pond when getting attacked. Lost all of them, and the push just continues. Enough siege behind there as well. Doubt and Viper just playing a beautiful game.
And I'm wondering what's going wrong for Nikov this game as well. He's got a very strange KD. He's gone only for Paladins. And he's got a lot more deaths than kills. Nearly 2 to 1. And nobody on the Secret team is even close to having that terrible of a KD.
Well, they didn't fight against... Well, I think, yeah, Hart should have a pretty similar to Nikov. Maybe he lost more villagers, maybe never got any villager kills. That's surprising to me. I think that should be a bit more even. Maybe the cannon, bomber towers kills have to be carrying Hart. Yeah.
Yes, Hart would have done a lot of damage with the bombard cannons. But now that the bombard cannons are starting to go, now they're starting to be taken out, and Secret are starting to push through here quite nicely. Amazingly, there's still even some gold to be mined, but I don't think they'll bother with that. Viper down to just 12 villagers, by the way. 75 trade carts, 80 military, and 12 villagers. That's what we call eco-balance at the post-imperial stage of the game for the Mongols, when there's no wood left on the map, or at least no accessible wood. 667 gold to buy 100 wood right now, as everybody is basically at the limit. Look at Lyri's resources. He's got nothing in the bank.
Oh man, what a game. MBL, in the end, the champs couldn't carry a thing. The Sling so much better there. Hard with the solid game there at the right-hand side. What an incredible play. The Team Secret players, incredible team play. All the walling, all the fighting. This was just a treat to see them play.
Oh my gosh, you don't get games like that, do you? You just don't see that very often. At all. I mean, that was off the charts in terms of what you would ever expect to see in a 4v4 team game. Just so much intensity on this left-hand side. The whole game, for over an hour, fighting over this hill. It was aftermaths, it was secrets, it was aftermaths again, it was secrets again, it was aftermaths, and then finally in the end, Team Secret managed to push it back, and things get absolutely crazy when there's no wood. Look at the minimap here, there's no wood. There's tiny amounts which are left. The only accessible wood now is in the middle of no man's land, and players ending up on 16 villagers, 21 villagers, 32 villagers, while the trade numbers are absolutely sky high. Players buying the resources from the market, pumping up the stone price to 545, pumping up the wood price to 667, and in the end, the war of attrition won by Team Secret with a massive number of Mangudai, a massive number of Camel Archers, and I think it's safe to say that those Camel Archers probably did the most damage in that game. Doubt 1,580 kills with his Camel Archers in that one. Absolutely insane. We can go through, have a look at the remaining resources as well, just to see what everyone had in the bank, for those in the chat asking. Viper, 500 food and wood, about 4,000 gold. Moving on to Doubt, he had 12,000 food, which is kind of crazy. I don't understand why he didn't send that to Tato or Jordan. Jordan had 5,000 food, 5,000 gold. He could have kept making paladins for some time. And Tato had 600 food, 1,200 gold. Then looking at Aftermath, you've got Nikov with a good amount of gold. Everyone still had quite a bit of gold. But I think the thing that basically ended that game was this on the left side. The Mangudai running into the trade line, and Aftermath knowing that they were about to hemorrhage a huge number of trade carts. So, Nili, any final thoughts on that game before we move into the next one?
It felt like MBL couldn't be efficient enough with the Slavs. And it is very easy to look very bad with Slavs against those civilizations. Yeah. I honestly feel his approach could have been, he builds 130 farms, Nikov and Hart 0 farmers, and he goes for the full food sling.
Yeah.
I think like Slav farmers are faster. I think that could be a good strategy. He just needs to support with rams, SO, maybe some scorpions as well, maybe some traps, but halberdiers, I think after minute 50, not really the unit I wanted to see.
Yeah, true. I mean, MBL did have a lot of food, and he could have, maybe slung that out. But I mean, at the end of the day, he still needs to be producing some effective unit that can do damage in the battles, because you can't fight 4v3 post Imperial. He has to have something in there to at least help in some way. And I think the Siege Onagers, the Siege Rams, they were great. We saw how that really influenced things. But I think maybe the Boyar could have been a good choice. Halbs were fine earlier on, but later in the game, Halbs were just not cutting it, and he was ending it. He was feeding a lot of Halbs into the meat grinder in the end.
And I believe Slavs, you also have to think like, you have to use civilizations of the pool, and they now used 3, I believe, right? Against 2 out of the pool. So. Isn't it Magyar, Slavs?
Let's see. The Slavs and Magyars were the 2 for Aftermath. Berbers and Spanish were not in the pool.
Okay, so Berbers,
Spanish,
and
Spanish are in the pool.
It's in the pool as well, right?
Yeah.
The Aftermath kind of has a freer pick, quote unquote, for the next coming games, and Slavs aren't bad. So it is so tricky.
Whew. Absolutely intense stuff. Obviously, it's a best of 3, so it's all on the line now, as if Secret win the next game, they will go through to the second round and the semi-finals. Aftermath need to win game 2 if they want to pull it back and have a shot at taking this to 3 games. Crazy intensity there, though. Fantastic match. Wow, I mean, it's so different, right? We just saw these maps, these very same maps in 1v1, And Acropolis in 1v1 is such a different game to Acropolis in 4v4. It's a completely changed map. It's a completely changed approach and playstyle from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Acropolis so much. I know that Robo loves it as well. I know that the old SY sponsors loved it, the old Voobly team, everyone. And it just has proven to be great game after great game. And we had it twice today and 2 incredible matches.
Yeah, I've not seen a single bad Acropolis game in my lifetime. A team Acropolis, that is. But no more Acropolis. That's done and dusted. Secret took that one. Next up going to be Budapest. And, well, Budapest is going to be crazy as well, right? It's going to be absolutely off the charts because not only is it a 2TC start, but you've now got, instead of just 2 players, you've got 8 players. You're starting the game with 16 TCs, if my nilly math doesn't fail me right there. And that's gonna be exciting, right? Especially when you've got 2 pocket players as well. There's gonna be water, there's gonna be land, and there's gonna be a lot of action on this map.
Water not too important, but yeah, it is also sweet for Boom. Maybe Italians makes it a bit more viable there. I believe Budapest, since it's so different to all the other maps we had, is the map where you can improve on the most if you train. So I feel a lot of preparation going into Budapest could give you way higher chances. And, well, if we are all honest to ourselves, I don't see AM playing 4v4 Budapest 5 times against another top team.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I feel like the preparation for Budapest should be way better for Team Secret than for AM.
Okay. Well, well, we'll see, won't we? I mean, if this is a map that requires preparation, let's see what preparation they've brought to the game here. As we go into Game 2 between Aftermath versus Secret, it is 1-0 to Team Secret, and it is a best of 3, so it is now match point. If Secret win this, they will advance to the semi-finals in the Europe East 4v4 event. If Aftermath win this, it will go to a Game 3, and they will play for the final game, and one of these teams will be going forward, one of them will be dropping out, and the winner of this one will actually go on to face LOS, so that's going to be an amazing game as well, and that will be on the Saturday coming up, next Saturday the 18th, if you want to catch the semi-finals and finals of this 4v4 event. We're currently in round 1. So once again, Aftermath and Secret. Joining me is going to be Nilly. And Nilly, I'll let you take it away, introduce the first team.
Okay, then let's start with the AM guys. We have Nikov playing the Indians here, cheaper villages for him, and we'll go for a sneaky ball steal already at the side of Tado. We will quickly jump through the players and then see about that. MBL, the Turk pocket, interesting choice there. Hans and Chinese for Hard, and Leary, the 2 fastest civilizations, the 2 that should carry with early aggression.
Yeah, so Leary on that right side with the Chinese there, Hun's pocket with the for Heart, and as you say, MBL with the Turks. Interesting choice to take Indians here. I like that. I like that a lot. Indians, obviously cheaper villagers. It's going to be huge to take that cheaper villager bonus and apply it to a 2TC start where villager production in the early game is going to be tough. So I'd like to see Nikov pulling ahead in villager count, but we'll see how that works out, because at the moment it's actually Leary with the most vills thanks to being Chinese and starting with a whole bunch of extra villagers, so he has a little bit of an advantage there. In fact, I'd say maybe even the Chinese advantage is bigger than the Indian advantage, but the Indian advantage will play out longer. Anyway, across to the other side, for the Secret team on the right flank, we've got Jordan23 taking the Slavs this game and losing a villager somewhere. Oh no,
Scouts.
There's a scout to the TC. In the pocket, we've got Doubt in the purple. He's playing as the Huns. The other pocket player in the yellow is Viper playing as the Mayans. And then on the left flank, Tato playing as the Chinese. So you've got Chinese and Huns for both teams. And the difference here being that the Secret team have the Mayans and the Slavs, whereas the Aftermath team have taken the Indians and the Turks.
And, well, Indians, the free choice that AM gave themselves before, because they picked Slavs earlier. Now Slavs had to be picked by a team Secret. And so overall villager counts, it looks like Leary with a pretty sweet start there. 32 villagers already and building a dock. That looks damn solid.
Yeah, and so far it seems like a couple of deaths, Viper losing something, Jordan losing something. Jordan lost his scout, Viper maybe lost a villager. Yeah, he did. He's got 2 military. And MBL losing a villager as well. But these are just, that's going to happen when you're playing at such a high speed in the Dark Age and you're luring to boar, and there's just so much room for things to go wrong. We got a little bit of a wall fight coming on the left side as Tato tries to wall up here with a gate and some palisade, but Nikov doesn't want to have any of it, sending his villagers forward. And already at this stage of the game, players aren't too scared to use their villagers aggressively because they already have 2 TCs working. Their ecos are still going to be growing at a huge rate, even if they lose 1 or 2 vills.
And funny thing was, Viper was protecting that area the whole time, standing around with his 2 Eagle Warriors, and the moment he left, it was Nikov and MBL moving in, now trying to go for more harassment. Tato already on the way up to Feudal Age, though.
Tato going up pretty quickly compared to everyone else, but he does need to defend this left side, and maybe we'll see a tower coming up once he reaches the Feudal Age. And of course, fast castle could be possible, but at the moment he is not taking stone gold as far as I can tell. His left gold has been walled out by Nikov, and he's actually moving on to the stone right now. It looks like Tato will be making some towers here.
Let's see about that. Kind of interesting.
Will he, though? I mean, he could still fast castle.
Yeah, he has enough
to
food
build a market, blacksmith, and then sell some resource.
He sees all the gold spots as well.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting for sure. Didn't go for water. In general, has a very small vision, but that sometimes happens if you are in such a short distance to your enemy. 7 players now on the way to Feudal Age. Only Jordan behind, who clicked up now.
Yeah, Jordan clicking up last. He's the Slav player. He'll probably fast castle and, well, he could go into knights there. He could start making a lot of siege there as well. I mean, this map is so crazy. There's so much to follow, but teams are trying to wall up the middle of the map now. They are trying to get that wall off, and that's something that Budapest does offer. Usually it's quite an easy wall in the middle of the map. But yeah, Tato's up to Feudal. It will be a tower from him on pressuring Nikov here. Nikov trailing in the scores at the moment, but he's about to hit Feudal himself, and it looks like he wants to fast castle this one. Should be able to pull that off. Might need a defensive tower, though, on the way. A little outpost there. I like that outpost.
Is Tato maybe slinging? He wanted to wall early on. He's going for stone walls. Has 900 food. Is not on gold. Builds a market. No blacksmith. Those are a lot of indicators for that.
Could be. Could be. I mean, if he's towering up, then he could use those towers to get a solid wall off and prevent his flank from pushing in. I don't know. I feel like on this map, if you're going to sling, it's got to be a sling to the Mayans, surely.
Maybe he's moving away from that. I still don't
Viper's
know.
doing market blacksmith right now, but he's getting a little bit denied because Hart and MBL are both here, and they are both coming in to hit these villagers, denying the market, delaying Viper. Really good use of the scouts, and Viper will now get his market, and his delayed blacksmith will come up as well, so he can go up to the castle age. But that's another thing about this map, right? You got to bring those scouts together and do damage as quickly as you can, because those that timing, that window of opportunity to do damage is quite small, as players will reach the castle age very quickly.
Okay, seems like Tato is clicking up, did abuse the market a bit. At the same time, Nikov, he is going for the sling though. He will be slinging Leary, who's on the way to castle age quite nice and early. 14-10 timing there. Villager count, very even. 50 to 55 for all 4.
Yeah, really nice how close that is, actually. I'm laughing because MBL is walling his teammate out right now. which basically means that Nikov might be left out to dry on this south flank. Use him for his resources, and then when there's nothing else to give, just leave him to die. Sounds pretty brutal, but Nikov here, being walled out from his teammates, he's got the role of slinger, and we'll see what he can do. Who is he slinging again?
Leary.
Leary, okay, so Leary playing...
Oh, wait, MBL is slinging as well.
MBL slinging as well?
He is slinging hard.
Wait, they're going to be a double sling then?
Yeah, but on 2 different players.
Yeah, so sling to the Chinese and sling to the Huns. That's okay.
And Hart is reaching castle age with 1.2k food, 1k gold.
What?
So, and instant university and monastery. So that is a rush to paladins.
Yes, he's going imp. And obviously the Hun stable working faster. It is a really nicely thought out plan. That's crazy. That's a 15-minute Imperial click. And you don't see that in any other map. Come on, that is absurd. Look at Viper's castle drop on the left side, though. Nikov here, going to be forced to wall up behind it, but that castle being used quite offensively. I like that. Anyone slinging on the other side? It's Jordan slinging Viper, as far as I can tell.
Well, Jordan is in castle age and building extra TCs, so that is not really a sling.
But he is sending resources to Viper.
100 food to Viper.
He sent him some other food as well. 260 food. Like, Jordan is slinging all of his food to Viper.
He did sling 300 in total.
Okay. Well, maybe he'll sling some more later, but at the moment, you know, Slav farms, like we said before, why not use those bonus farms to do some sling? But I guess it's not a full sling because he's going to be booming off the back of it as well. A little bit of action for the water. There's a little bit of fishing going on in the south ponds and the north ponds. Just that northeast pond with some action between Jordan and Leary. Jordan's going to win that and kill Leary's fish. Left side then, Viper's castle up, Plumed Archers coming in. But I think the real story here is these Imperial Age upgrades. I mean, Hart and Leary, both of them up to Imp incredibly quickly, rushing Paladin and rushing Elite Shuko Nu, I assume.
Yeah, I think so for sure. The only thing... Okay, so it has to be Nikov dying, and it has to be... Jordan dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it comes down like... MBL won't have any defense. Huh, this is super interesting game. Like, I couldn't even solve that if I had time, pen and paper. This is a scenario that I've never seen before.
Viper up to Imp as well. And meanwhile, Hart completing Cavalier. He's starting to send those knights to the right side. He's going to support Leary there. And how's this push going to look? We're going to see Cavalier Paladin. I love that they're using the castle to jump through the wall. That's really, really pretty. But yeah, just Elite Shuko Nu, maybe some siege from the Chinese player. We need to see some rams from Leary here, I think.
He's going for traps for now.
Okay.
Jordan is going for a defensive siege workshop there. That's mainly for walls, I will hope. Yeah, it is. But that will be a tricky spot. Okay, so Jordan lost his main TC.
Wall it. Oh, Jordan, he was trying to like quick wall with houses, but he left a massive hole, and now the Cavalier are in, and he's gonna close it off. He's got... Yeah, there's no hole. Okay. He has closed it, I think.
No, it's open.
Is it? Oh, it's open on the right side.
Sure.
Yeah, Doubt's standing there. Doubt needs to... Okay, he's going to try and wall behind this. What a mess. What a mess, Nilly.
That will be some dead villagers for sure. And yeah, there's still Cavaliers against Knights, so even Doubt trying to prevent them from coming in means he is taking bad fights. No upgrades on his Knights. Walls are now closed. But, well, traps are out, and they can just easily get into another area here.
Yeah, they can come around the back easily and even hit Doubt if they go far enough. Jordan's trying to wall off to prevent them from doing that, but the first TC is already down. Hart making a lot of Cavalier, but doesn't have Paladin coming in just yet. I mean, come on, it is only 22 minutes of game time. We can't be too hard on the guy. But... Imperial Age coming in for Doubt as well now, so we're going to have Doubt making Cavalier very soon to defend, but already a lot of ground lost for Jordan, and no ground lost for Nikov. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Nikov's building a labyrinth over here.
And Nikov has 86 villages out of 80 pop, so that's really tough for him. Needs to build a lot of houses, but that's just so sweet for him as well.
Nikov's really taking the slam gate to a whole other level. I mean, look at that. Pan's Labyrinth on the left side of the map. And meanwhile, these guys are working on breaking through in the middle to get towards Viper. Draw your attention to the villager counts here. Jordan quite low on vills, Viper quite low on vills as well, and all of the Aftermath players, yeah, reasonable. It's just Doubt and Tato with the big economies at the moment.
Yeah, and well, I criticized, or I said AM, oh, well, I don't expect them to have a good start and a well thought out strategy. Oh boy, was I wrong. They knew exactly what they wanted to go for, and they're executing so well. Hard will have Paladin upgrade finished before Doubt will even have Cavaliers.
Yeah, that's really impressive, and Nikov's just stalling for time on the left side. It's safe to say that Aftermath are pulling themselves a really big advantage here, certainly in terms of map control and with the potential to do damage now once Paladin is completed. I think that these Cavalier from Heart in the middle of the map, or Paladins, they could come south and hit Viper here, I think. Actually, no, they can't. It's closed off, never mind. But
look at the KD as well from Heart.
They need to find a way through. 48 kills and 8 deaths? Wow. That's pretty good going right there. Where are those kills coming from, though? I mean, what has he killed? Just Jordan's vills?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jordan's down to 53 vills now. He's got a lot of space to expand, and that's the nice thing about this map. You have got a lot of space to build in the corners. The problem is, Jordan's losing ground so quickly, he can't defend it fast enough, and there is another hole in the wall now. There's always a hole in the wall. It's just a question of how costly it's going to be.
And I think Leary has even so many traps. If he wanted to, he could just chop through the wood as well.
Ooh,
and then go through. It's really tough to wall behind that. Viper's coming over now. He's the lead plumed archers. But he is simply not advancing to the left-hand side. Tato now even walling off that area.
Viper has 3 castles, but they're all on the left side. So his reinforcement distance is huge. And let's be honest, I mean, elite plumed archers, they're not great versus paladins, and he's got pretty small numbers as well. They're not even that good versus Chuko Nu, apart from the fact that they're a little cheaper. So all in all, this is a great push from Aftermath, and they're going to just go straight in, fully upgraded Chuko Nu, fully upgraded paladins. And this is at 27 minutes of game time. This is normally Castle Age territory. And we're now fully upgraded Imperial units at 150 pop for Doubt and 182 population for Heart. He's got 71 Paladins nearly. That's insane.
A solid number here, the 27-minute game for sure. Now killing all the stables of Doubt as well. And then no chances for his Paladin production. He is only at 22 military, making it so tough to ever allow Viper to take any engagement. He simply doesn't have a meat shield.
Yeah, and what can we say about this really? It's simply a fact that Secret were too slow. Aftermath with a double sling. They came into this with the strat. They executed it perfectly, and I think they just completely caught Secret off guard with the amount of aggression and the amount of units that they are fielding in such a short space of time.
Oh man, and how can AM ever take a good engagement here? It might even feel like they aren't far away from typing GG here. Those Paladins now pushing in, Chukonus of Tato are coming over, but now they're in the heart of Doubt.
Who was slinging? Was it Tato slinging?
It
was Jordan slinging, right? Where's Tato then? How much resource has Tato slung?
Tato didn't sling at all. Jordan did sling 300.
Okay, so Tato didn't sling at all, and he's at 147 vills and 38 military. He doesn't even have fully upgraded Chuko Nu yet.
Oh, he had that villager fight at the start and this very bad start where I thought he wanted to go for a sling to save his strategy. So yeah, he kind of threw that away for sure. And look at the mini-map just running through the old base of Jordan, pushing further and further.
Well, it's funny because
new stables.
I was going to say it's funny because if they just went to the right, they could actually kill a bunch more of Jordan's eco out here. But they're just going straight down the middle. Very MBL style to do that, just straight down the middle. Who cares about the flanks? Just go for the heart. And it looks like, well, they might just be held a little bit here as the numbers of Chuko Nu and plumed archers start to get going. Doubt starts to get a few more paladins to meat shield a little bit. But Meanwhile, you've got Nikov now going up to Imp, and he's going to be preparing to make his counter push on the left side. A lot of castles here, though, Nilly, so it's going to be difficult for him to break through on this left side, I think.
Well, we'll see. Bombard towers and bombard cannons. Just so nice to control those areas. Some paladins should be added there as well. We can see more siege workshops. Just simply alone the fact that he is adding another area of attack just makes it so much tougher to defend.
That's true. I mean, Secret will have to then split their resources between two sides. We saw Bombard Tower being researched for MBL, and those are Turked Bombard Towers, so it's 8+5 range. Able to do a lot of long-range damage in the center of the map, 2 additional range compared to the Chinese Bombard Towers, but of course lacking the extra health because Chinese do get Great Wall, which increases the HP on their towers by about 1,500, I think, bringing them to about 5k health. But yeah, on the right side, raiding on Jordan here. Jordan's really struggling to get a foothold in this game, as is Doubt. Both of them around 50 villagers right now, and everyone on Aftermath, meanwhile, has double the villager count of that. Looking very good for Aftermath right now, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nikov now on the way to Imp as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see him going for Imperial Camels pretty soon as well. But, well, the game could end before that. The push over at the right-hand side just too strong. Losing a bit of steam, but honestly, Jordan and Doubt just to that.
Well, there you have it. GG. Being called right there. Impressive performance from Aftermath on one of the most fast-paced maps in the tournament. In fact, this is probably the fastest-paced map in the tournament, as there are at the moment no other 2TC maps in the whole event. But Aftermath there coming out with a strong strat, showing us that a double sling can work and it can be done. Nikov doing a great job to defend on the left side, and then Lyrian Hart doing a fantastic job to push through onto Jordan. The flank slinging, well, he wasn't really slinging, but he was way too slow to be able to defend or do anything there.
Oh man, and I heard so many times in my life, like, oh, slinging is so boring, oh, every game the same. Like, I think I never saw such a game and will never see such a game. And that's because ECL is creating so great settings. Different maps, different matchups, the draft, or not draft system, but the shift picking system. I'm enjoying this tournament so much, and we are only at event 2 out of 14.
Yep, there's a long way to go, nearly. A lot of more exciting stuff to come as well. So I want to just talk about slinging real quick as well before we come out of this game. So basically, slinging has been nerfed with this, well, with the balance patch, right? Coinage has been moved to the... Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong because I'm gonna get my things confused. Coinage has been moved to... I want to say it's been moved to Imperial, and banking has been removed altogether. And the base sling tax is at 50%, I believe. So slinging is expensive, and slinging is not something that I think we're going to see in the team game events too dominantly. I think it has its place in the game. I think slinging should be in the game, but it has been nerfed hard. In this kind of game, though, this kind of map, I think slinging absolutely has a place, and you can see exactly why. The huge economy that players are able to build in such a short space of time, that loss of resource, it's okay. Oh, it's 40%, not 50. My bad.
Yeah, I think we're in a beautiful spot. Like with house slinging, I think we exactly nailed there. It is a part of the game. It isn't too strong. It isn't too weak. That's where we should be. Run us through the stats, Zach.
Yeah. Well, these, just real quick again on slinging. Basically, we're using the same sling nerf that Nations Cup used last year. And in Nations Cup, I think about 30% of the games had sling with that balance. And we'll keep an eye on it, see what the percentage looks like for slinging in ECL. And we're talking full sling, not just like a half sling or a semi-sling just to get someone up to the next stage. So we'll see how it goes. There's a lot yet to be seen, and lots of stats and information to analyze before we decide what to do next, because it's obviously in our interest to make the best games and the best settings possible, and we can do that by changing the balance slightly. But right here, then, we have the KDs on your screens. Heart, a crazy high KD. Doubt, a terrible KD. Losing so much right there. I'm surprised he lost more than Jordan, but I guess he had more to lose, didn't he? Because Jordan didn't have much in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, there was no chance for him to ever defend. I think he just scouted it very late as well. Maybe Tato didn't tell early enough, like, my guy isn't getting castle age. Guys, better wall up quickly. It is tough to realize that because timings are so off. It's tough to identify a sling early on.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That is true. Especially, yeah, because, I mean, it happens so fast. Everything is, the time frames are such a lot shorter. I wanted to highlight as well, like, Tato that game, he had a really big economy. He was in a great position to do damage, but I think it just took him too long to get there. If you look at the timeline, his military was coming in quite late in that one. So anyway, we'll come back out now because we've got game 3 to come, and game 3 will be the decider. AM versus Secret on Cross. We haven't seen this map yet today, but I'm really, really looking forward to this one because Cross has been, in my opinion, it's been the best map in the 1v1s, and I'm interested to see if it's going to hold up in the 4v4s as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I personally love Cross for a lot of reasons, right? I played very famous games on Cross. We had it at NAC. The T90 show matches now had Cross as well. And it's like a beautiful mixture of land and water. Team wars are possible, easy to screw up as well. A lot of early aggression is really strong. And I'm super excited. There's so much on the line in this one single map.
Yeah, man, and it can't get better than this. Aftermath versus Secret, two of the best teams on the block right now, and we just had an amazing game 1, a very interesting game 2, and now we're going into game 3 right here. We've got Cross, always been a map with a lot of excitement, a lot of different strategies available, and we've got Aftermath here on the right side of the map. In the blue, it's Heart playing on the left flank as the Burmese, the pocket player Leary in the green playing as the Mayans, the other pocket, Nikov in the teal playing as the Italians, and then down to the south in the grey, it's MBL playing as the Mongols on that left flank. So they've taken Mongols and Italians from the Civ pool, and then they've free-picked Burmese and Mayans here.
For me, absolutely reasonable Civs on the other side. Civs that I did not expect coming that way. The Viper, Celts, okay, incredibly strong imp civilizations. Khmer, yeah, incredibly strong if we get to late imp as well, but you need to get there. You need to have 130 builds. Before that will be tricky. Doubt, Italians, makes a lot of sense. Nice boom. And Goth for Jordan. That's another thing that I didn't expect and that I honestly don't like.
Some very different civs here, I think, and I think it's safe to say the Aftermath team have gone for the more traditional civ picks. Mongols, Burmese, Mayans, and then Italians. Obviously, both teams taking Italians for this one, thanks to the water control, with the ability to take water control. And, well, I think the Italians are decent in the late game anyway, because if you look at the lineup for AM, the Italians are going to be like the Bombard Tower player, right? They're going to be doing the Bombards and the Genoese crossbow, and maybe the Siege, more of a support role. For the Secret team, Khmer, I feel like it's a bit of a risky one, but the risk could pay off if they get super late. And then the Goths. Why don't you like the Goths here?
Just in general because team walling can be really important. Goths not great with their early economies, so if they get pressured, that's really tough. If you get onto late imp, you're bad in like one-dimensional fight. Goths kind of need to spam a lot, like we had the chance earlier for Riot on Acropolis. That's something I don't really see that Jordan can get into, and also not the greatest crush either. So where's the real strength for Goth?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in this lineup, they'll actually do quite well. Because if you look at Aftermath, they've got 3 civs, which are all going to go ranged. Mongols, Mangudai, Burmese, Arambai, Mayans, Plumed Archers, Italians, Genoese Crossbow. Huskarls could be good in the mix here. And I know that Secret are very, very thoughtful about which civs they pick. And maybe the Goths was the last pick for them. And they were like, yeah, let's just do Goths. They've gone for 4 ranged civilizations. Throw Goths in at the end. Bit of a curveball. Maybe the Huskarls could have a big impact here. In my opinion... Go ahead.
Are they drafting? I thought it was hidden civ.
No, they pick one after each other. They pick back and forth. And it's visible.
Then that makes so much more sense. Okay, then it's likely that Goth was the last pick, yeah. And we don't really know what the other civilizations were left, right?
And, you know, thinking about it like that, would you rather have the Goths against 4 archer civs, or would you rather have the Slavs? Hard to say, but we saw how the Slavs were pretty ineffective in the first game, and maybe the Goths could do better.
Okay, yeah, all makes so much more sense now. And so maybe we talk a bit about the map and why this one is, again, a bit different than others. Sometimes we have defensive, safe pawns for both sides. Not in this one. We will have 2 contested pawns at the top and at the bottom, and 2 safe pawns here. And we see Doubt going for the water control. So it seems like Jordan will play on land, Doubt will go for water, and Tato needs to go for the left-hand side full fish. I don't like that he only built 1 dock there, since he's the only guy who can really fish boom for his team.
That's true, and he's also taking the time now to wall up as well with some big walls. Secret, though, looking like they really want to win the water here, and the ponds have been absolutely pivotal in the 1v1 matches, and it looks like they're really putting emphasis on taking the water here as well. 3 docks for Secret in the north, just 1 for Heart, with a second one coming up after this villager kills this wolf, and then in the south it's 2 docks for MBL, 2 docks for Viper, and I think MBL's feudal first, so that could go quite well for MBL in the south here. Mongols versus Celts on the water there.
It's so funny, MBL and Nikov running around with their scout through the TC of Viper, and he can't do anything because no will's there. And yeah, you indeed said some water aggression here. Viper with 4 fishing ships against 2 of MBL. I think Viper will lose some of those though. Will we see any land aggression? Am I missing something, or is everyone walling? It seems like Nikov at least is going for some scouts.
Yeah, Nikov got a villager kill on Viper there as Viper's trying to close off the wall, and he's going to try and delay the wall as much as possible. MBL being a little bit of a bodyguard as well with a low HP scout, just trying to delay Viper, maybe do some chip damage, keep the wall open long enough for the next scout to come along. I wonder if they can do it. Viper doesn't have a barracks, so he can't even make a spearman here. They just need to keep the scouts alive and stop the wall. There's only a single wall piece. He has to keep it. Oh, and it's closed. So nice try from Nikov, but that's closed off, and with that, there is no getting through. Viper then a full wall, going for water, and then maybe into a sling? What do you think? I mean, would he sling?
First off, there's a hole between Jordan and Doubt. Obviously, those 2 are failing it, and Jordan's front is still open. So he's actually open at 3 different spots, so scouts can still do something. But nice move there, Viper. And what was your question?
Would Viper sling here? And I think the answer might be yes, because he's putting down a market right now.
I think he is, first of all, trying to contest the water.
Yep, but he's won that now. Kind
Let's
of.
see about that. He needs a market regardless, right? It gives him cartography as well, so it is a nice upgrade for him. I don't think he should really go for the sling. Okay. But, well, we'll see about that.
But, I mean, there's some good sling targets here. You could sling the Goths, or you could sling the Khmer. Could be interesting. But let's see. I mean, Khmer player just about to click up to Castle Age. Doubt is just about to click up to Castle Age as well as the scouts come into his wood line. And Jordan 23 is just moving out to gold. Fighting for the water. Was he fighting for the water a little bit? No, he wasn't. What's he been up to then? Scouts.
Oh.
That's it. He made some scouts.
Oh man, I would have loved to be in TeamSpeak there with the Team Secret guys. How they're screaming at each other, oh, scouts in my wood line,
Yeah.
and John screaming back there, I vaulted here, no, I vaulted till here, oh no, why is it open? And at the same time, Tato and Viper just face palming.
Yeah, I can see it now. It's like a sitcom. But,
Okay, now
but it looks like Secret are going to win the water. And they're going to win the water on both ponds by the looks of it.
That's just so weird. And that's what we saw in NAC over and over again, right? How MBL and Leary lost the water to Tato and Viper there. And especially against Viper. And then they really made the boom happen. And I feel they're maybe a bit undervaluing the strength of the water. Look at that fishing ship count now from Tato. He's just going ham. He didn't even build a mill yet.
He's got 25 fish. Well, if you want to make elephants, you certainly do need a lot of fish. And we're going to see Viper. Well, I mean, it could still be a sling. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think he's sent any resources out yet, but I think he was struggling for food for a while. But now that he's won the water, he can add some more fish. Jeez, 24 fishing ships. How long do you think it's going to be until he fishes that lake out with that many on there? 27 now.
About that, and I think Tato even needs to add a mill, not to really get food, but to get the farm upgrades at some point. Oh man, that's so weird.
Well, at the moment, second TC for Tato, and third TC should be coming up as well. There it is. Just a big boom for him. It looks to me like the focus is going to be on the Khmer player, and just doing Khmer elephants, and there it is. Tato. What? Wait, hold on. Tato just paid 500 food to Jordan. Is that right? That is right.
That is right.
Well, I mean, he's got food to burn, I guess, if he's got the fish. Slinging the goth, then?
But still, he has 0 stone, 0 gold. He cannot really use those resources. I think Tato should have added 1 or 2 more TCs before actually slinging. Yeah, I don't like that. Is it a longswords move?
Doubt's slinging Jordan as well right now, by the way.
Oh, God.
Tato slinging Jordan, Doubt slinging Jordan. I thought they'd sling either the Khmer or the Goths. But the Goths aren't really in a position to utilize it yet, as you said. Unless he's going for some fast imp, and then he'll power down a castle and start spamming from the barracks once he gets to Imperial.
Doubt is actually slinging Viper.
Doubt's slinging Viper? The Viper's still in feudal. He's only just clicked up to castle.
Yeah, but he only clicked up because Doubt gave him resources.
Oh, okay. So not a full sling, just a sling to get him to castle?
Don't ask me.
Okay, I won't ask. Jordan's powering up his castle now, though, like I say. Interestingly, he's not clicking up to Imperial yet. He doesn't have the gold, but maybe he'll get enough gold through the sling to do that. It's getting confusing now. Who's sending who to what and why? But we do see Leary. Let's focus on Aftermath for a minute. Ignore that carnage. They are starting to get castle up there. They are going to be booming up a little bit as well. We've got a castle coming up from the Burmese player. We've got 3 TCs from Nikov, I want to say. Yeah, 3 TCs from Nikov. He's booming away. Leary in the south working on his boom with 3 TCs as well. But the big story is the fish, really, again. The secret team have way more fish.
Yeah, and now Doubt is also slinging John. I'm trying to understand this game for us, guys. It is pretty tricky. Okay, so Leary is staying on Plumed Archers. We have Burmese going for a Rambai. I hope Nikov is at least booming. And maybe so is MBL with 3 TCs. No, he's going for a small push against the Viper. This will be a tricky game. They need something against the Huskals.
Well, this is what I was saying right at the start. The Huskals. This is probably how maybe LOS could have done it in the Acropolis game. with a sling to the Goths instead of letting the Goths boom. Because let's be honest, the Goths are the strongest in the earliest part of the game possible. The longer the game goes, the Goths, let's be honest, kind of fall off a little bit as they just don't have the population efficiency of their units. But right now, at 23 minutes, Imperial Age with fully upgraded Elite Huskarls, you've got population efficiency right there. And you're against Plumed Archers, and you're against Arambai, which they counter. Well, maybe they don't counter Arambai, but they definitely counter the plumes.
Yeah, agreed to that. Arambai could still do some dance for sure. The question is, how is... now the Plumed Archer even scouted more barracks. They know that the Huskarls are flying in, and they see that Dowd is still in feudal age after having a lot of fishing ships, so they know that he has to be slinging for sure. They have to know that something is up. Now they see Jordan and Imp. What is their reaction? I think even going for Castle Age Elephants here for Hart is an option.
But Hart's done 2 petards. He wants to like do a wall bust or something, but he's going to go bust if he doesn't defend from these Huskars soon. Jeez, I mean, that's a nice idea, but yeah, they have to make something happen somewhere else on the map and make the Huskars defend rather than get aggressive, I think. I think they need to get the Huskars to go to the other side or something like that. So we'll see what they can do there. At the moment, Huskars being kited down. There's knights here. Nice to see Jordan doing pikes so soon, though. He's not afraid to mix them in nice and early. But at the moment, not quite a lot of momentum yet.
Pikes actually means that the Plumed Archers are actually back to some efficiency. Nikov now on the way to Imp. Is he maybe switching into hand cannoneers? That is an option. And still thinking about the 2 petards, where should they go? Probably towards Dowd, but he's double walled everywhere.
Yeah, he's got house walls and stuff. I mean, there's a single palisade here they could break and go around, but the Goth player could quite easily react to that, I think. But yeah, taking a little while for Jordan to get his upgrades in. He's not got elite Huskar yet. He's just finished Perfusion. He's making Condottiero as well. I don't know if that was a misclick, but he's got a couple of those on the map. He's just doing one of everything. That seems to be the plan for Jordan here.
Sick, that's actually so good. I thought about like, yeah, Italians can just go hand cannoneers for Nikov, but well, then condos are back on the menu. This is just so tricky. Like, how do you counter this guy?
It is quite tricky. I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. Right now, they can counter him by microing, but we haven't got Elite Huskar yet, and these guys are just still struggling, and they're still losing ground to the Huskars just when they run at them. So yeah, it will get a bit tough. So far, though, Jordan with minimum raiding. He's mostly just been working on getting his numbers up, and his numbers are looking quite decent. 26 military and rising quite quickly here.
Oh man, tricky stuff here. Okay, so Hart still trying to defend, trying to run around, has enough Arambai out to one-shot those condos or Huskars, which actually look quite similar as well. Never seen them really next to each other.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. And now let's see. Some push towards the Viper. How can he defend that off?
Well, he's got the help of Jordan, of course. Jordan's building a barracks over here. 2 barracks, in fact. There's already Halbs ready and waiting to take down the Knights of Nikov. Nikov's actually teching into Cavalier right now and might immediately be regretting his decision when he realizes that he's going to be pushing into a wall of prickly, pointy pikemen. Definitely doesn't want to be doing that in a hurry. MBL, meanwhile, doing men-at-arms as the Mongols.
Oh god, why again?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can see the reasoning. It is against a Goth player. So
yeah, but
what,
that's
oh my god.
awesome. No, the fact that he's going for this right now is so unusual. Like, when have you seen this before?
Well, MBL is a guy who goes for that. But yeah, it is a good option for sure. Love that. A lot of people would have not thought about that. They would have maybe tried to play with Cavalier and Mango Dice since they are Mongols. But champions will be so efficient. That's tough to counter for Jordan, who is now attacking towards the champ line as well, though.
Yeah, Viper here trying to patch his wall off, and he does, because there's no range units there. There's just the Mangonels. But yeah, I like that he's doing this. Long swordsman coming through. Like you say, though, Jordan is also teching into the champions, and they will trade more effectively versus, or cost effectively, versus the Mongols there. Meanwhile, though, Jordan's damage has been minimal. 50 kills, 120 deaths nearly. It's hardly been an effective Imperial sling for Jordan.
Yeah, only worst KD is from Tato here. Yeah, no elite Haskell's, and it seems like he still gets sling from Doubt, but soon Tato will switch on to Elephants, and they will be pretty good against everything that AM has at the moment, so the tech switch could be nice.
Still, I can't help but feel like it would be better to maybe get the Khmer to imp and get aggressive with elephants. But I think the reason you do it with the Goths is because they're much faster at putting the pressure on, and they're able to start massing up units really quickly. But right now, Jordan not massing up much at all. I mean, he's got 30 military, and the Aftermath team have considerably more units on the field at the moment, with Lyri at 44 plumes, Tart at 14 Aranbai, and Nikov at 31 Cavalier, and that just unit composition is working much better for them. The Aranbai quite good at against the Huskars, even doing 7 damage per shot, and the Cavalier working as a bit of a meat shield as well. Just that combo of units working so nicely for them.
I think it also was because of like the anticipated strategy here of AM. A lot of times you could see a sling on the Mayans player there. He had an early Imperial Age, maybe mass elite Pumped Archers, and therefore they wanted to have the counter with mass elite Huskarls. Didn't really happen, wasn't really that efficient, and now the push through the center against Stout.
Yes, going quite deep there as well. Now, obviously, the Italians don't get Paladin, but he has got +4 defense and attack, so his Cavalier are still pretty damn good. I mean, that's a very good reason to go for Cavalier here. It's pretty good for the situation at the moment, but here comes the first elephant from Tato, and I think the idea is really, you know, you stall with the Goths, and then you go for the elephants with the Khmer, and you clean house. Is Doubt going imp, or is he going to continue slinging toward the Khmer player for some additional elephants, I wonder?
What is he really doing if he goes imp? I think just having a lot of elite Huskar out, a lot of elite battle elephants, and let the Celts do his job is good enough. Thing is, we need a transition into real units from MBL now, because his champions won't really do much in the future. At the moment, 0 casters from our Mongols player, though.
What do you mean, real units? He's making champions, Nilly. Does that not count? Come on now. MBL, these champions have had the time and the place, but I think it's a lot of wasted time and resources, to be honest, because long term, they really aren't going to cut it. And now that there's elephants on the map, like you say, there's very little that those champions have to offer, and he really needs to start teching into Mangadai. But first castle just coming up for him, and it's an aggressive castle as well. I don't like that. I think he needs to build that castle at home, because that castle there is way too exposed and way too likely to die or be denied.
Yeah, agreed on that. Something more on the back. Try to get your tax up. Try to increase your amount of mango dice first. Would be so much better. But honestly, it just feels like he's not getting enough army out. And now he should get on to Halberdiers. But, well, that's not really an option for Mongols.
Dead Vills. Oh, okay, not quite Dead Vills. The castle went up, but I don't think it's going to stay up for long. Viper's got his rams here. He had some heavy scorpions as well. Celts, of course, just doing the siege. And on the north side, Hart's gone for champions as well. What is going on with Aftermath and champions today? I guess it does work well versus the Goths, but, you know, they're not playing only versus the Goths this game.
Yeah, well, they are
unit.
pretty sick, though, right?
Yeah.
The Mies champions, they can really do quite a lot, and Goth is just dying against that. So it will be tricky for Jordan now. They simply need more defense at the right-hand side, though. And Elite Genoese Crossmen are incredibly good against Battle Elephants. But, well, like I said, Genoese Crossmen won't be good if we see any onagers on the map. Well, the Viper with his heavy scorpions kind of doing the job as well.
Yeah, the Genoese crossbow are great, but, you know, siege rams, scorpions, onagers, it's all three counters that you could possibly need in one go from the Viper here. And meanwhile, on the north side, you've got battle elephants coming in for Heart now. And I like that. You know, he's, again, probably bought some time with the champions. They've been pretty effective. But now the big boys are here. Now the battle elephants have come into play. But he's got nowhere near as many as Tato. Tato's got 41 military, Heart has 38, and Tato is exclusively making battle elephants right now, whereas Heart has some champions mixed in. Meanwhile, NBL's rushing to get some pikes out to try and defend these elephants, but it is not a population-efficient unit, and he's just lost another castle. So NBL is never going to get onto Magadai if he loses all of his castles, and they're already going down so quickly.
Oh man, yes they are, and he is lucky that the Viper is mainly going for rams now. If they only had like 3-4 traps as well, they could have pushed even further. Doubt now in, taking to Elite Genoese crossbowmen as well. Nice interception in the back here for Nikov, buying some more time, so maybe he can hold there. It feels like Jordan is in a lot of trouble now. Where is Leary at the moment? His Elite Plumed Archers? Not really efficient anywhere at the moment on the map.
No, I mean, he can bring some plumed archers to the south to do what exactly? Attack the rams, try and hit some elephants? They're going to do nothing. Tato finishing Tusk Swords. He's got 16+7 attack now, backed up by heavy scorpions. Look at that. The heavy scorpions even taking down the ram, the onager, like instantly. The third castle for NBL goes down, and NBL's wide open now. Jordan... He is losing ground, but I think he's going to be able to hold and lose ground slower than the guys in the south, than NBL. I think NBL has already lost more ground than Jordan has in the last 30 seconds than Jordan has the whole game, and he's got the backup of Doubt here as well.
And now heavily housed as well, trying to get some more up by building them in the front, trying to build them in the trade, so that's not beautiful. And simply, yeah, not having any answers there to the better elephants. Nikov not really controlling the hill in the center there. It's just so tough for them. Hard is now trying to come over with elephants, but tricky spot for them. Simply because Leary can't do much. The guy who boomed the most can't get any kills anymore.
Yeah, I mean, plumed archers just become null and void. I mean, what do they possibly add in this game at the moment? And what could he possibly do better than plumed archers right now? I mean, eagles aren't really an option. Not down here, they're not. The elite battle elephants and heavy scorpions. Would eagles work at the top? Maybe, but they wouldn't do any better than plumed archers there. So plumed archers are still the unit of choice, but they're just not as effective as they need to be.
Okay, let's try to find out who is going for trade and where. Because at the moment it feels like everyone is pushing at so many different sides. That's not really an option. Okay, battle elephants now going down the south. Market is up there. That's just so tricky. I believe it all comes down to map control, and soon people need to transition into like Hussar units.
Maybe, yeah, if the gold starts running out. I think that the secret team probably have the better option to trade since they aren't missing one of their flanks. But I like this in the south, quite a bit of monk action, converting some of these scorpions. Viper will lose those in the end. And quite a nice hold there from the Aftermath team. Very well held as they start moving now toward the north. And I see a lot of dead elephants on the floor for Tato as well. Interesting that he lost about 8 or 9 elephants there, and Hart lost nothing. How did that happen?
Oh, power of Genoese crossbowman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're talking about Tato there. Yeah. Oh, but Tato now going for a big double there at the top, and there's nothing against that, and that's just because they have so much map control. Genoese crossbowman trying to intercept there, but that will be heavy losses for Hart before that, and he is getting tripled and completely smashed down here.
The Genoese crossbow is the perfect unit right now. I mean, it's so good. They absolutely annihilate elephants. And Nikov not even doing the defense upgrades on his crossbow. I mean, well, they don't annihilate elephants if they go and sit underneath them, but they annihilate them from range. I mean, look at Hart's elephants here dying to these crossbow from Doubt at the back. They're just getting picked off one after another. 320 health means nothing to these guys.
Oh yeah, it's just so brutal. And as we said, like, yeah, there. So nice at the moment. No defense upgrade on Nikov's units though, so that's kind of sloppy. And trade is running. Still bad trade for the Viper. I'm not sure where his markets are that the trade cards are running so weirdly. It seems like, does he still have a start market or something? I'm confused here.
Sorry, who's this, Nikov?
No, the Viper. His trade cards were always running through the right-hand side. Seems like Jordan's wall. Look at how many trade cards he's losing.
I'm not seeing this.
Like, look at the center of Nikov's Elite Genoese Crossbowman.
Right.
Right-hand side. And they're trade cards of the Viper. Okay, never mind. Just continue with the fight.
I literally don't see that. Okay.
All good.
I see no trade cards on my screen. But okay, anyway, I think I was going to say the plumed archers from Leary could be useful in the north to kill the Genoese crossbow from Doubt. I think that's basically where he needs to be.
Yeah, as I said, like, yeah, against Doubt he needs to fight, but not a lot of siege there. And the Viper, well, with his Celts, that just feels like a kind of unstoppable army there. Mass amount of Scorpions, not even attacking for Onagers. And now Tato's moving forward with traps. That's just an incredible push against Nikov. MBL is, again, not really getting the kills on the map.
No, you're right. I mean, what can MBL add right now? Onager, Siege Onager. He's doing pikes, but pikes here not effective, not at all. Not when you've got heavy scorpions on the hill.
I'd even say like hussars is an option, right?
Hussar.
I'm not happy with that suggestion, but it feels like one of the only options. And now they're getting pushed back in the north. Not enough buffer here. And now the Huskars are coming back to efficiency for Jordan.
Yeah, now I see the trade carts as well. He's got so few of them. But now I see what you mean. They're kind of going through the middle of the map. Got it. But at the north side, Leary can deal with these Genoese crossbow reasonably well. I mean, the plumed archer has more health and more armor, pierce armor. But then you add the Huskars into the mix, and you've suddenly got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, that's true, and that's why they're building elephants, but still missing Tuscan sword there. And we see the Viper now even tagging 4 SO there, so that could be another unit added. And indeed, the Viper's already coming over with siege workshops. Lovely team play, and they are just continuing to push at so many different spots. I am in a world of pain.
Yeah, I feel like MBL, you know, he'd probably love to have some Mangadai on the field right now, but he's built 3 castles and lost 3 castles, and that just isn't an option anymore. So yeah, I mean, he's making siege onagers. I think that's the best he can bring to the table. But we'll see. We'll see if he can hold it. It doesn't look promising, does it? It does not look promising. As even Jordan's bringing some Huskars down to the south now as well.
And that's just lovely team play. You see Hard is coming over there as well. But yeah, Leary simply has an army that cannot really do much. MBL is forced onto Pikemen in a 55-minute 4v4 team game. Not your preferred choice. Jordan now with the perfect composition to kill everything at the right-hand side. MBL has some SO. Maybe they can land some key shots here against the Viper.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do with the Siege Onager. It's going to be pretty critical, but I mean, at the moment, MBL is struggling. Amazingly, he's actually got more population than Hart, but he is down to 75 vills, which is a little bit on the low side. Certainly not out of the game yet, but the ground has been lost, and they need to be able to turn this around at some point. Otherwise, they're in big trouble at the end of the day anyway. We had some raiding from Jordan in the north. That seems to have been dealt with now, but Doubt making good progress as well. And again, good teamwork from Secret, because you've got Viper with some siege onagers in the north as well. And they're using the siege onagers to push through behind the Genoese crossbow, just for that added firepower. So Viper's on both sides, providing the support, providing the siege. Not a single non-siege unit on the map for Viper, I think.
Oh man, he did tag everything though. So let's see if he maybe wants to add some later. His O shot's not really connecting with Leary at the top. But now we see Bomber Towers. They added from Dowd as well. And they are so close to the trade, not even a whole screen away. This will be so tricky. AM. What can they really do from here on?
I'm just watching for Viper to hit a massive Siege Onager shot onto Leary's plumes, but I don't think Leary's going to let that happen. I want to see it happen, but I mean, they're zoning Leary out so hard. I mean, with Siege Onager in the north, he can't engage these Genoese crossbow very easily at all, without at least risking losing his entire army to Siege Onager shots. If he goes down to the south, there's Huskarls down there, and there is a lot of elephants, which he's very ineffective against. And I just feel like, yeah, the Mayan player just can't contribute enough here at all.
And that's what we said several times now. Maybe some SO support at the top from MBL could really help out against the army composition that we have over there at the moment. But then again, Huskarls could have just raided that as well. It feels like AM is only in this game because this is so important. Obviously, you want to take away points from your toughest opponent, want to get them on your own board as well. But it feels AM kind of out of options.
Absolutely. The elephants from Hart now going down very quickly to the Genoese crossbow in the north, and the GG is called as Secret push in on both sides of the map and conclusively win on both sides at the same time as well. Really well played there. In the end, I think it came down to having the better late-game civilizations more than anything, Nilly. And it certainly doesn't help that MBL couldn't get onto Mangadai. Mangadai in the south, do you think it would have made that much difference? I think it could have been pretty good.
I was scratching my head during the game, and I think it sounds super weird, but the Mongols player slinging the Burmese could have been an option. If the Burmese just gets onto champion trap, he should just kill Jordan instantly. He was missing the steam, and MBL is basically going for a weaker unit, then hard and slower. But that's just my crazy head.
But maybe it would have been better then for the Mayans to sling the Burmese, because then the Mongol player is still free to make the siege and to make the I don't know, supporting pikes, or even make Mangadai as well if they can afford it. Because I think the Mayan player had the least impact in that game. Well, yeah, maybe not the least, because if you look at the KD, you can see he clearly got the best KD on his team. However, I think when it came to the late game, the plumed archers wouldn't have done more than Mangadai, and they wouldn't have done more than more elephants would.
That's really the spot where a post-interview with both teams could really help us out. This is such a complex scenario, and I feel, like, well, why not both? Why not have the Mayans and the Mongol sling? I think Burmese was really the shift that needs to carry here.
Maybe. It's pretty hard to say, because obviously the Burmese battle elephants versus the Khmer battle elephants, I think it all comes down to whether or not the Burmese would have killed the Goth player fast enough before the Genoese crossbow came up. And I think the Genoese crossbow being such a slow unit, they probably would have done, to be honest. So interesting. I thought originally they were going to sling the Khmer so that Tato could do a really fast push, but they ended up slinging Jordan, which was interesting. Jordan's KD at the end, by the way. Most kills, but a crazy number of losses when you put it into perspective with everyone else. A lot of wasted units from that sling, but I think it was more of a sort of delay tactic than anything.
Yeah, and I think they did sling Jordan because they expected to sling on Leary's plumed archers or eagles and wanted to counter that, so right. That's why they came up with it. And I honestly like how much confidence they're putting into Jordan here. Because you don't really want to have like, okay, it's a 4v4, but that's our weakest player. We're trying to avoid slinging him. And I love that that's not the case here.
All right. Well, guys, that concludes Secret versus Aftermath